Hey guys, welcome back to Heiko Shaves. In the last video I told you that one of you guys, one channel supporter, JR is his name, he sent me a care package, amazing. He sent me his brand new brass Yaki adjustable razor, which I already tried out. First shave is already done. But he also, at the same time, sent me a REX Konsul. You guys know what a REX Konsul is. REX supply company, sold by Razor Emporium. It's a US made adjustable slant razor. It's sitting here. So this beauty here, made by REX supply company and, REX supply company, Razor Emporium. It's two separate companies, but the same owner. Designed here in the US, made in the US, has beautiful scalloped knurling here on the handle, fully adjustable, and it's a slight slant. So this is a slant razor. And Matt Pisarcik, the owner of Razor Emporium and REX Supply Company, he says that this one, compared to their normal straight double-edged safety razor, the REX Ambassador, is actually the milder one. This is the one for the guy that tends to get irritation, that wants a smoother, not quite as aggressive shave. And so JR sent me this. We're ready to go. I already put some pre-shave in my face. I just wanted to give as a head start. I have a Wilkinson sword blade, my standard that I use to compare razors to each other with. It's already sitting here. I just pause real quick, fill my sinks, and we're gonna get lathering with Proraso Green, my go-to, and we're gonna try out the REX Konsul. All of water is ready to go. So here's the REX Konsul, typical two-piece. You just take the head off, grab your blade. I always dip it into water, so there are a couple drops of water on the blade that kind of holds it in place. It doesn't fall off. And then you just stick the top back in there. And then I've noticed, of course now I'm trying to demonstrate this. Or is it, am I going the wrong way here? Maybe. On a slant, I guess you have to get the head just right. There you go. So, of course, the slant is going to put a little bit asymmetrical tension on the blade, so you got to get it just right. You put the blade in there, put the top on, the water, like I said, the drops of water hold the blade in place, so it shouldn't fall off. And then, honestly, slants always kind of look funny because they kind of tension and torsion the blades in a certain way. Here's the blade exposure. So how this is supposed to be a milder razor than the Ambassador, we will find out. So I'm at the lowest setting. It actually goes past 1 a little bit, so it's at 0.5 right now, and then it goes all the way to 6. You don't have to loosen up the head. Here in this case, the closed comb bar, the lower bar, goes down. It moves away from the blade, so you don't have to loosen things up to do the adjustment. But yeah, this is what it looks like at setting 0.5. All right, I have a synthetic brush here. This is the one from Fine Shaving. They call this angel hair. It's really soft, really soft. Downside of really soft is that it doesn't have much backbone. It turns into kind of a wet noodle, but I still like it. It looks great. It looks almost like my Ever Ready here. So this is vintage boar, still stinky after 40 years. But this is a modern interpretation of this, much nicer bristles. I'm really a big fan of synthetic. First of all, no animal was harmed to make them, which, that's a bonus. But then also it doesn't have the stink, and they don't usually shed as much as the natural bristles. So you just get them wet. You don't have to pre-soak anything. Here's Proraso Green in my little Proraso Green cup. We're just loading up, and then I'm going to get my face wet. And then we're going to try out the REX Konsul. Expensive razor. I mean, this is like heirloom quality. Made in the US. All domestic products. The steel sourced in the US. Machined in the US. Assembled in the US. But this thing is made out of 316L stainless steel, which is a pretty high grade. They call it marine grade stainless steel. So stainless steel. Everything that's called steel has ferrous material in it, so iron in it. As long as steel contains iron, it will, under certain circumstances, rust. So even stainless steel, the lower grade stuff, you know, the stuff that you buy at Home Depot, it will rust eventually because there's still iron in it. It's just mixed with chrome and some vanadium and some other ingredients to make it resistant to rusting or to the oxidation process, but it will eventually still do that. But then if you go up in grade, so your 316L stainless steel, marine grade stainless steel is a little bit more resistant to that. But if you take let's say you take a wire brush to it, which is made out of normal steel bristles, and you brush that over your stainless steel, you're gonna get some rust going. All right, yeah, that's the industrial mechanic in me talking. So let's get started. I have the brush loaded. Let's just get the wet face wet, the wet face. Just a little over the pre-shave that we already applied. There's only 1 day of growth on here, so no major hurdle for the razor. And here we go. Just spread it on. As you can see, this is pretty noodly, pretty soft, floppy. Whereas some of even the cheap AliExpress and Amazon synthetic brushes I have, the KIKC, I keep using it. It's a $10 brush from Amazon, made in China, but has really nice and stiff bristles, and the top is still soft. It's fine and soft, feels good, but it has the backbone to really, you know, stir the soap and lather really well. And I just got a PAA brush, which is called the Pellegrino, this one here. I don't know what they call it, something. The bristles also synthetic. It's really floppy when it gets wet, unfortunately. It's very wet noodly. So, you know, when you find something that's good quality, just stick with it. You know, like my KIKC is my absolute go-to. I'll take that on a trip any day. I know it works. All right, and this is a good lather out of Paraso green with this fine brush. It's a very fine brush. It has very soft, gentle bristles. So not the typical, the boar or badger sting that some of those knots produce. It's a little prickly, but this is good. All right, dip it in water, blade, it's all tight, set to 0.5, and a slant razor. It's very intimidating, but Matt Pisarcik says this is the more beginner-friendly one of the two, of the Ambassador and the Konsul. Yeah, here we go. The shave. Oh, actually, that's not scary at all. This is mild. This is mild feeling. So let's switch the side to see if they're mild on both sides. I mean, those REX razors, they definitely do not have any alignment issues. The blade is held in there so nicely. All the alignment surfaces are in the head, not in the bottom here. So you slide that in and the blade is held in place properly. And then, you know, the tension here and all that. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys remember from my REX Ambassador reviews, I was saying that it is a little too aggressive on low settings. So if you're starting at a number 1, it isn't really mild. It is kind of medium aggression. So it goes up from there. And this one here, this one in here is really not bad. And yeah, it still leaves a little bit at number 1. So how about, let's crank it up. No, we're actually only at 0.5. So let's do 1.5. We'll go up one step, 1.5. How about that? Oh yeah, it doesn't have any click spring in there. So you can, without any steps, you can adjust it, fine adjust it. So at 1.5, I can't really tell major difference now. But it is true. If you are new to wet shaving, like I was just a few months ago, everything is intimidating and every razor is like, ooh, you know, you're gonna cut yourself. But you get so used to having a blade in your face. What is flying around here? you get so used to having a sharp object in your face that it gets less, it takes the intimidation factor away. Oh, and I did it again. You know, Arthur Gatzke, he told me to just pull it over to the side, but then sometimes I just forget. So at 1.5. Bad, not bad. It's very manageable. It's non-intimidating. And then, of course, with experience over time, you learn to find or to feel when you're at the right angle. Because it's, of course, geometrically, you could say, okay, this razor needs exactly 30 degrees or this exactly 27.5. But who can hold a razor at a perfect, consistent angle all the time? Because your face is not a flat surface. But then over time, you kind of feel when the blade is doing the right thing and when the blade is kind of at an obtuse angle and it's, you know, grabbing a little too aggressively, and then you know how to correct it. By the way, again, we were talking about razor handle length. I'm blowing shave foam around here, I guess. That's what's flying around. This one here, how I hold it, as you can see, most of the time, 3 fingers or 2 fingers, you know. But I like this length. Let's compare it real quick to my progress. Same length. This is a short progress. I just made a video recently where I compared the long handle and the short handle progress. And I'm trying to thin the herd and, you know, send off some of my razors to other people or sell them. But I just can't make up my mind. Do I want a long handle or a short handle? But then every time I have a short handle like this one here, I'm pretty happy with it. Oh, let's not forget to weigh the thing. With a blade, 108. I also forgot to to weigh the Yaki brass. This has no blade in it, but still 112.5. So probably with a blade, it's 113. This one here is 108. So 108 gram is stout, you know. Some of the vintage Fat Boy, for example, is around 80 grams, so kind of a reference. But this is really nice. The scalloping here is not quite as aggressively machined as the knurling on the REX Ambassador. I'll put a link up here for you guys to go back to that REX Ambassador first shave, how intimidated I was by its you know, aggression or efficiency, but it's still a razor that you can shave with for sure. All right, let's not ramble too much, Heiko. Let's just lather up and do another one. Let's get a little bit more water. And see, I didn't even wash off in between. You don't necessarily have to. I mean, you are taking a sharp object and you're removing the lather anyways. And if the razor is relatively efficient, it will cut your stubbles, but also take all the lather off. I think Ken Serves never washes off in between. So I blame him for this. No, he's doing a good job. He has always very interesting products and tips and tricks. So I am one of his followers. All right, here we go. We're still at 1.5. We might go up a little more. Oh, what am I doing? I'm supposed to do a different direction, right? Yeah. Let's pretend this never happened. It never happened, guys. Let's do across the grain. Across the grain. You know, guys, 1.5 is probably about the sweet spot here. let's go back to a 1, a proper 1, and see. If you want to see someone shave with a REX Konsul at setting 6, you are unfortunately at the wrong channel, because I'm looking for the gentle, the comfortable, but efficient shave. So I will not go past the point of that. And I think this razor here, set to a 1, is just that. It is gentle but efficient. Of course, I can get away with shaving with a 2 or 3 and not cut myself. And I can tell you, this is already, you know, we're already smooth up here. The only place where it's not smooth is my neck, and that's because we have only been shaving with the grain. Now I do one quick short little pass against the grain. Yeah, this is already very good. There's going to be a little bit of noise because the against the grain direction is going to find a couple stubbles that we missed. Yeah, the brush is really gentle, very soft. So if you like the softer type, great recommendation here. This is good. This is a nice looking, they're made in China, so you're not, just because you're buying fine brand, you're not getting a US made product. They would probably be 3 times the price. You know, like the Simpson, Trafalgar, and those made in England, they're nice brushes, but I mean, they are, the cheaper end of their product line is like in the $50 range, and then there is no limit to it. You know, you can go to like $300 for a shave brush. And I mean, if they want to send me one to try it out, I would happily try a nice Simpson brush, but I just don't see myself spending $50 or more on a shave brush. All right, let's not forget what we wanted to do. I'm going to do a against the grain. And there is, of course, still a little bit of some chatter going on here. We're still at number 1. With a slant, even though it's only a mild slant, let's not forget this. And the idea of a slant versus the conventional straight blade edge is that at a slant angle, you are cutting something with an angled blade rather than a, you know, at a shallower angle, which is supposed to give this whole thing a better cutting action. Just like the French guillotine back in the French Revolution, where they beheaded all the nobility, the royals. They apparently, the inventor of the guillotine, Mr. Guillotine, they first tried to use a straight edged blade that fell down at a perpendicular angle, and then they found out, oh, sometimes we have to let it drop 2 or 3 times, and that was maybe, even for those days, a little too cruel. So then they came up with this angled cutting edge, and because it's angled, it has a kind of a slicing motion, and that is supposed to make it easier. And the same concept here with a slant razor. A lot of people think that slant razors are so much more aggressive. It's not the case with this one here, and Matt Pisarsik is absolutely correct. This one is less aggressive on low settings than the REX Ambassador. I wish they could maybe come out with a REX Ambassador kind of a light, or the REX Ambassador gentle, or, you know, I even gave him a name recommendation. He could call it the, what was it? ambassador, consul, and the attaché. Attaché is a military, usually a military attaché is working with the ambassador. It's a military position, kind of like a liaison. It's also very common in diplomatic circles to, you know, have a military. Oh, I nicked myself. Look at that now. That hasn't happened in a while. I've successfully avoided any major skin irritation in a while. And the skin irritation I had was usually caused by the products and not the razor or the shave. But let's do a quick inspection. So we did a 3-path REX Konsul Wilkinson sword blade. And I missed a couple little... Someone told me, you know, to do the nose push out of the way, or the nose lift, to expose your upper lip. And that makes sense if the whole thing is in the way and my nose is like crooked because I broke my nose when I was 16 or whatever. I never got it straightened out. Yeah, so I have one little bleeder down there, but the rest is pretty happy. And with this angle blade coming down, you got to make sure you're not sliding sideways, so you might accentuate or make this slicing motion more extreme, and then you cut yourself. But overall, Matt Pisarcik is absolutely correct. So if you want a family heirloom quality razor made in the United States, and you can pass this on to your grandkids, and it's supposed to be made by REX Supply Company, go for the Konsul. It is milder than the Ambassador. Until Matt listens to me and he makes the REX Attaché, which is the light version of the Ambassador, where they change the angles just slightly, maybe put this nice scalloping on it, which is really nice. I mean, look at that machining. When I first got the REX Ambassador, I was like all geeking out over manufacturing procedures and how they potentially make the knurling on the REX Ambassador. This one here is just as impressive. I just recently started 3D printing at my house. You know, I have too many hobbies, shaving and other things. But yeah, 3D printing and all the, you know, X, Y, and Z axis, and how a thing controlled by 2-stepper motors can actually make a circle. You know, it's pretty impressive. And looking at this, I could geek off on how they did it and how they made it for another hour. But I spare you guys. No blade overhang on the side. And the best part, the rounded off ends. So they undercut the edges here so that the cutting edge of the blade is really close to the end of the razor, and that's what it's supposed to be. So thumbs up, REX Ambassador, Razor Emporium, Matt Pisarcik, you guys did a good job on this one here. And JR, man, sending this to me, such a high quality razor, and you just let me use it, I really appreciate it. So I'm not gonna hold this hostage for long. I'm gonna try to get through the review process, and then at the very end, when I'm done with your razors, I will do a video on how to clean them and ultrasonically and all that stuff, and disinfect them and pack them up and send them back to you. So I really appreciate this. This is some support, man. I really appreciate it. All right, guys, let's rinse off real quick. I'm rambling on, man. Unbelievable. All right, guys, rinsed off. I bought a new product recently, which is Parasos's Gel Reparator. So I guess it's a alum gel. So it does the pulling together of the pores and pulling together the little bleeding injuries that you caused. It contains aluminum, so it's the same, you know, the same controversy about getting aluminum into your bloodstream. Aluminum chlorohydrate, agua, silica, propylene glycol, hydrochloric acid, eucalyptus perfume. So it's the green color. I don't think they make it in any other color. So this is green. And instead of using alum block on your entire face, you can just use a little bit of this gel here. It's literally a clear gel comes out, and you just dab that onto the spot where it's bleeding. So instead of rubbing an aluminum salt block in your entire face and then potentially causing more aluminum to be absorbed by your skin, which then can lead to all kinds of, they say it's linked to cancer, it's linked to Alzheimer's. I'm not an expert. Don't quote me on this. Please do your own research. Just be cautious and be deliberate about it. So if you want to use aluminum products like deodorants and stuff, do it, but at your own risk. And I do it still. I still have an alum block here. And if I really irritated, I will still use it. All right, let's do some brass green aftershave. Very good stuff. I don't think I have to wash this off. It's like a styptic pencil in form of a gel. So you apply it locally. The styptic pencil is pretty much the same aluminum salt as a alum block, just a little bit more concentrated, I guess, or in a different form. And then people complain that they have, the white powdery stuff on their skin after the shave and it looks ugly. And with this gel, since it's clear, goes on, does the stopping of the bleeding. And this wasn't really expensive either. I mean, this is probably going to last me the next 20 years. I was looking, I bought a Pinot styptic pencil before my trip to Taiwan. Of course, now I don't know where it is, but I will find it. We're going to try that as well one of these days. But nice shave, smooth, 2 little nicks. But I would say that's just user error. I was talking too much. And the REX Konsul is just an impressive piece of kit. Now I'm going to take this apart, clean it, park it up there, let it air dry. I mean, dry it off and then air dry. But before this goes back to JR, this is going to get the full spot treatment. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all your comments. Please remember to subscribe if you're new here. And if you don't mind, give me a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. Alrighty, guys. Take care. Bye.